If you want to be truly wealthy, there is no more urgent time than right now to start using AI. And I know this is a very unpopular opinion, but hear me out. Anyone who's been following me for a while knows that I'm generally AI positive, but also skeptical, and I like to think about the implications ethically, economically, etc. And this is all the data I've learned that has made me feel so strongly about this right now. And it's all essentially because AI is going to create huge inequality, even more so than exists today. First is this paper by a really interesting NYU professor. The reason why I found this so fascinating is because everyone talks about how AI is changing the world, similar to how farming changed to a more industrialized world. There were less farming jobs, but new jobs were created. And that's the whole thesis that people talk about with AI. Jobs as we know them today are not going to be the same ones that people do in 20, 30, 50 years. And people typically use that as a comforting fact for why they shouldn't freak out. And while I do think that's the case, this paper was really interesting to me because it examines agriculture in particular, particularly around the invention of the tractor. The tractor, similar to AI today, did cause major productivity gains across the board, but whether you actually benefited from those productivity gains 100% depended on your role. Were you a farmer, aka an owner, or were you a wage laborer? It was undeniable that people were displaced because of the invention of the tractor, but if you were a wage laborer, it impacted you 20% more, whereas if you were a farmer, you were impacted with just 1/4 of that same degree. Similarly, those productivity gains were also not equal. For farmers, that technology was labor augmenting, while for wage workers, it was labor replacing. This meant that for farmers, the returns on their labor increased tremendously, whereas wage workers not only were not benefiting from that, they were actively losing benefit. This isn't even the craziest part though. It didn't just impact them as individuals, it impacted their future families tremendously. The kids of farmers versus wage laborers earned 5 to 10% more. We already knew that generational wealth is really important, but this illustrates the importance of making sure the benefit of AI is all equal. I could go on and on and on about all the things that are wrong with the system and the way things are built today. That being said, I'm going to focus on the practical, which is what you can actually do as someone hearing this information and wants to do something about it. I made a video on this the other day, actually this great article you probably have seen all over, basically talking about that even just playing around with AI, experimenting with it, having it actually do parts of your job is one of the best things that you can do. From my experience of talking to founders and recruiters who are hiring all day long, this is especially true in technology across every single role. Everyone is looking for someone who is AI literate, AI forward. Unfortunately, regardless of how you feel about it, that is where the world is going. Number two is that it's more important than ever to build equity, whether as a business owner, the farmer in this analogy, whether via side hustle, earning equity from working at a promising company, investing, etc., etc. And frankly, this is the whole reason why I run this page, because I feel so strongly about this. So if you also are interested in this topic, I hope you follow along.